Welcome to the Jeff Crilley Show. And now, here's Jeff Crilley.
Remember the SAT? Those 3 letters strike fear into high school students across the country. I still have flashbacks and nightmares about my SAT. My next guest is Jean Burk. She's a SAT instructor. She has cracked the code. She knows how to ace this test and teach others to do it. She's a homeschooling mom. She's the creator of the revolutionary College Prep Genius curriculum. It's helped thousands and thousands of high school students across the country get into college and get it for free. I love that word, free, Jean. Okay.
I know, it's pretty exciting.
All right, so how do you ace the test? What's the secret?
Well, the secret is that, number one, it's a logic test. It's not about your IQ, how smart you are. That's why a lot of valedictorians bomb it. But really is about how to take the test, because test taking is a skill, like piano or football. And they only give you a minute per question. So even if you're good in math, but you spend several minutes on one math problem, it's going to cause you problems when it comes to time. But every question can be answered in 30 seconds or less. You just have to know how the College Board writes the questions and how they write the answers.
Absolutely. I was just in, we met for the first time a couple of days ago. Madison, get over here. So Madison is an intern at Real News PR. Madison, Jean is going to ask you a question. Ask her one of those basic questions you asked me.
All right. This is what I asked Jeff the other day. You know how some months have 31 days?
Yes.
And some have 30?
Yes.
How many have 28?
February.
All of them. Not just February.
Really?
Every single month has 28 days and more.
I did not know that.
So you just got tricked by a logic question because your mind thought I was asking you how many only have 28. But I asked you how many of them have 28, and they all do.
Okay, ask the other question, the president question.
Okay. What was the president's name in 1970?
Oh, man. I have no idea.
Barack Obama. I didn't ask you who the president was. I asked you what was the president's name. And our president is Barack Obama.
Barack Obama.
Yes. And so it's just like the SAT. These questions are purposely misleading. And the wrong answers look very appealing. And that's why it's easy for you to fall for a trick answer. Because it looks like the right answer, but if you had thought it through very critically, then you would have come up with the right answer.
That makes so much sense.
How did you do on your SAT?
I'm not a good test taker, so I did not do as well.
And you could have. I mean, sometimes it's learning just a few more little things because probably more than likely you worked out every problem the long way. You read every single word, which is what most students do. Even really smart students do that.
Yes.
But there's a fast way to answer every question.
And I'm an overthinker. So.
Yes. Yes.
Madison. Well, I thought that was, I think that was a good example for the listener of how the test is written. You were explaining to me the other day that you really almost have to work backwards and say that there's one good answer and then there's one answer that's similar to the right answer. Explain that.
Right. Well, what happens is when the College Board writes the questions, it's what I call cloning. And they tend to start off with the right answer, but then what they do with the right answer, they distort it. They manipulate it. They tweak it to come up with the wrong answers. And if you understand that, then you're going to obviously figure out that in a lot of cases, especially the math, that the right answer probably contains most of the elements of all the wrong answers.
So if you're looking at the 4 answers, where your eye should go is, let's see which 2 questions are most, or which 2 answers are most likely, most similar?
Correct.
Okay.
And yes, and there's a lot of strategies, but that is one that works like a charm because it's a reoccurring pattern that they use over and over again.
And you were telling me that you've had just kind of miracle transitions. Can you bring a young person's score up by hundreds of points?
The most of any of my students that I know of has come up 720 points.
Oh my goodness!
I do get a lot of kids 500-600 points, and maybe an average of 300 points for even kids who don't do everything I tell them to do. But once I think the confidence level is what really gets the kids excited because when they take my class, and most of them don't want to be there, they come kicking and screaming, and they realize, wow, no wonder I bombed the test. No wonder I thought I was dumb or I thought I was a bad test taker. And when they realize it really is a matter of learning the skill of how to take the test, that you can do well. And of course, the higher the score, the more money you get because colleges go up in their rankings nationally based on their test scores. So, of course, they'll give you more money because you make them look good.
You told me how this all got started. Tell the audience how did this begin?
Well, about 13 years ago, my son Josh was in 9th grade, and we didn't have any money for college. Of course, we wanted him to go, and my friend mentioned to me one day that there was all kinds of scholarship money, free college based on, your test scores like SATs and PSATs. And, I thought, wow, this could be a venue for us to get some money. So with my son Josh, we started going through the test, going through the patterns, looking at lots of different test questions, find out what works and what doesn't work. And long story short, he became a National Merit Scholar.
Wow.
And we literally threw away 7 trash bags full of college offers.
No kidding.
Yes, everything from full ride, free tuition, room and board, grad school money to study abroad in other countries, $5,000 spending cash on top of a full ride. So then after my daughter got her scholarship money, my friends wanted to know what we did. And that's when I came up with the program College Prep Genius. And I started teaching out of my home. And then schools started calling me. And then people from other cities wanted me to come, and people from other states. Now we are in other countries. I get to go to other countries and teach my program. So we've seen such tremendous success. Kids who have gone to Ivy Leagues for free.
Wow. Okay. And when you talk about kind of a return on investment, how much does your packet cost?
Well, if you go to my website, College Prep Genius, my DVD set is $99. That would give you the textbook, the workbook, and the DVD. That's just like a live classroom. We also have people all across the nation who host one of my classes, and we teach an actual live class, and it's $249 per student. Of course, there's a minimum depending on where you live, usually 12 if you're here in the continental U.S., but certainly in other countries it's more. But we get the same results. Some students do better in a live classroom. Some students are perfectly fine to pop the DVD in and watch me teach them how to ace the test.
In terms of return on investment for $100 or $250, you're paying for college, which is often tens of thousands of dollars, is it not?
Oh, it's sometimes hundreds.
Wow.
The average private school is about $100,000. The average public school is probably more like $70,000 for 4 years. I mean, certainly junior college might be around $45,000, depending on where you live. Ivy Leagues are $220,000, $30,000+. And the reason why these tests are so important, and people need to understand, is they're not a measurement of what you learn or what you know or how smart you are. They really are a measurement of how well you can think and critically think under pressure, because a 4.0 at one high school is not the same 4.0 at another high school, because every school calculates their scores differently. So the only fair way a college can compare, let's say, a homeschool student in Texas versus a public school kid in California versus a private school kid in Florida is a test like the SAT, because it levels the playing field.
I want you to know that Madison is very interested. She is not looking at her phone right now. She's not texting. She is tuned in. She's like, where were you a couple years ago?
I hear that so many times a week. But here's the icing on the cake. Test taking itself is a skill, whether you're taking the SAT, the ACT, the PSAT. Once you understand that every question can be answered quickly, you can apply that to so many different tests, like AP tests, subject tests.
Right.
For us, the icing was my daughter ended up getting free grad school because the GRE is also written by the same company.
No kidding.
My son got a lot of free law school offers because the LSAT is just another logic test.
Again, my guest, Jean Burk, she is a SAT instructor. And your website one more time?
collegeprepgenius.com.
Oh my goodness! I think people are scurrying to write down your website right now. It seems almost too good to be true. It's not cheating, is it?
No, cheating is if somebody gave you the answers ahead of time. I mean, if you're going to take a geography test, you study geography. If you're going to take a history test, you study history. If you're going to take a logic test, you study the logic behind the questions, because you can't study for this test because it's not content-based. It is logic, and you study the way the tests are written and the way the answers are written. The key is that people spend so much money on programs that teach you tens of thousands of vocabulary words or tons of math concepts. But it's going to basically be fruitless in many cases.
Jean, it seems so simple and so obvious. Are you surprised no one came up with a system like yours before?
I didn't do it to come up with a business. I did it to help my kids get free college. And then once I did that, everybody wanted to know what we did. And I was gladly able to share. I was like, well, we did a little this, little that. It was very helter-skelter. And ultimately, I put together a program. And to see the lives change that we see, I get to get tons and tons of testimonials back, every day, every week from families who said, you know what, we had no means to go to college, or even families with younger kids who said, none of this stuff was on my radar. And then I heard you speak and realized, wow, there's so much money out there. And I don't want to wait till my kids are late into their junior or senior years when they're so stressed out with so many things in their lives and on their plate, that I want to teach them how to be a good test taker now, so that by the time they become, a junior or senior, that it's second nature to them. So the exciting thing is people just being able to have their lives changed like ours was.
Have you ever heard from the folks who write these tests? Do they like what you're doing? Or
funny story. No, because you know what? I'm a drop in the bucket. And when they write these tests, it has to stay standardized. So they're not going to change it because of me, because that's just what a standardized test is. But the testimony I gave you of the young man who raised his score 720 points, the College Board actually called that family and said, your son obviously was cheating. And the mom said, no, he took a program called College Prep Genius. And I said, oh, no, you didn't say that, did you? She said, yes, I did. They actually had him retake the test in front of the guidance counselor just to see that he really did raise his score that much.
No kidding.
Yes.
So the secret is really not to completely read all of the answers, because you're actually wasting time.
You are. The College Board uses the same 4 tricks on every question. And instead of reading the question and then looking for the right answer, you read the question, and if you know the tricks and the wrong hidden patterns, you just mark them off first, and that leaves you with the right answer.
Okay, give us the website one more time.
collegeprepgenius.com.
Wow. It seems too good to be true. What's the reaction from parents when they find out about it for the first time?
You know what? They're excited because most people are in the same boat that we were in, with no money for college, or their kids' test scores are terrible, even if they're a AP student, honor student. So they're excited.
Jean, thank you. This has been a fast 15 minutes. I wish you a very happy 4th of July. Thank you so much for coming in and being my guest on the Jeff Crilley Show. And please come back next Saturday at 11 o'clock. Goodbye, everybody.